Hi everyone, Janet Boyer here, and welcome to another edition of the Say It With Tarot podcast. Today I'm going to do a part two of why use tarot cards in terms of intention and manifestation and how they work and why they work and why they're the perfect tool. Now, as we talked last time, not only do tarot cards serve as mini maps to our highest best self, but they're a lot like portable vision boards. Um, and vision boards, as I discussed, they're where you decide on an intention or a goal, and then you get out some poster board and scissors, glue, old magazines, images, and you create a specific image, a vision board, and text even that reflects your desires. And tarot cards are a lot like that, in that each card portrays emotional material, mental, relational, and even spiritual states that we can focus upon for specific intentions. So, tarot cards, they can be used for so much more than just divination. In fact, my favorite use of the cards is for focused intention and manifestation. If you want to expand a particular energy in your life, or enhance an area, or invite more, then you consciously choose the card or cards that best represent whatever it is that you want to attract. And that way you're not relying on that blind card of the day pulls to guess what it is that you really want or what's coming your way. That's a bit like wanting to make a specific recipe and you go to a grocery store blindfolded and then you pull things off the shelves to put it in the cart. That's why I'm just personally not a big fan of the card of the day, unless you're trying to learn the cards, of course, and you pick a card and then you journal it. But in terms of like asking about the energy of the day and what have you, in my opinion, you're giving away your personal will when you do that, because you're allowing the card to direct your focus and your energy. So instead, decide on what you want to feel, what you want to enhance in your life, what you want to experience, and then go through the tarot deck face up and find the corresponding cards, take them out of the deck, and then you can use them for your intentions. You could put a magnet on the back of a card and place it on your refrigerator. You could slide a mini card in your wallet or purse. You can even place your chosen cards on an altar or in a frame to display on your desk. Some people, like myself, make tarot jewelry featuring card images. In fact, you could even use an image of a particular card or cards as desktop wallpaper or phone wallpaper, so you see it every time you boot up your computer. If you're more physically inclined, try to mimic the position of any characters in your chosen tarot deck and the card or cards you pick for your particular vision. Sometimes a change of perspective or actually filling a stance or recreating a scenario from a tarot card can cause a powerful shift in our minds and our energy. So simply put, tarot helps make the invisible visible. And this is true not only for intuitive tarot readings, where cards are drawn randomly for insight, but also when we use the cards consciously to draw in more of what we want, those higher vibrational states of clarity, purpose, peace, positivity, and joy. That's like when a new year starts. We're dealing with endings or major changes. Many of us focus on what has passed away and wonder what is to come. But with tarot and other tools for focusing intention, they could be oracle cards, journaling prompts, symbols, mantras, talismans, affirmations. We then become co-creators of our life. And if you think about it, the act of creation means to initiate, to build, to act, to produce. So creation is not passive. It's not a subjective waiting game that unfolds. No, creativity, or in this case co-creation, implies acting upon something. An artist must pick up brushes, dip them in paint, and apply them to a canvas in order to create an image that will be viewed. A writer must use pen, pencil, or pixels to put thoughts on paper to create something that will be read or seen. A chef must gather pots, pans, assemble ingredients, and cook them on a stove in order to create a recipe that will be eaten. And our lives are no different. Sure, we can live passively, assuming that destiny just happens, throwing our free will to the winds of fate, bracing ourselves for the next gust that will knock us all on our ass. Or we can live proactively, seeing ourselves as co-creators with the universe, life itself, whatever you want to call daily circumstances, or the originator of those circumstances. Titles don't matter. Now, situations out of our control will happen either way. But here's the difference. Those who live passively, complaining at their lot in life, they do nothing to affect their destiny. They assume that their trajectory is already set, that there's nothing that can be done to change their fate. They look at the cards life deals them, they grumble, curse the dealer, and glare at their fellow players. Every single hand. But those who live proactively, they look at the cards, and yes, they may shout a curse or two at first, but they remember that even though they can't help what's dealt them, they sure as hell can help how they play the cards. They study the game, study the other players, learn new strategies, count the odds, risk sensibly. But most important, they have a positive attitude. They don't see themselves as victims, just as players who put on their game face and always do their best. So in short, when we become conscious co-creators with life, we make better choices, and then we can more fully express our free will. So tarot cards can give us an enormous advantage in playing the game of life because it provides us with 78 mini maps that address all manners of situations and feelings, like I said, materially, emotionally, mentally, vocationally, spiritually. And so by focusing on one or more cards, you begin to steer your focus and your soul in the direction of your highest, best life. So which tarot deck to use? Honestly, you can use any tarot deck for your intentions as long as the minor arcana images show people or figures doing things. That is, the Three of Swords doesn't just show 3 swords, and the Five of Pentacles doesn't just show 5 coins, and the Eight of Air doesn't just show 8 swords. It's actually some kind of figure, whether it could be an animal, it could be a robot, it could be a zombie, it could be people, but it's showing some kind of actions that are relatable to everyday human life. So that would mean that the Tarot of Marseille and older decks are not the best choice for intentions and conscious co-creation. The best decks is, in my opinion, the ones that are animated or, as I said, show people or objects doing something. Now, what about the challenge cards? Now, challenge cards, they often portray difficulty and challenges wholesale, or some component of the card does. So that would be like the Tower, Death, Ten of Swords, Three of Swords. When it comes to intentions and co-creation, we don't ignore such situations by pretending they don't exist. At least I don't. Or assuming that we can just affirm them out of our life. Because, hey, it rains on everybody, right? And I really believe that some of us have scripted certain challenging patterns before we incarnated for our own soul's growth. Difficulties that may be a constant part of our human experience. So it's very foolish and naive to aim for a life free of challenges. So what do? Well, when one or more of the challenge cards in tarot seem to sum up what we're going through, we can pull them out of the deck and lay them before us. And then we choose the card or cards we'd rather focus on. Maybe higher vibrational cards that can help us shift our attitude, approach, mentality, and feelings to a more productive, pleasant state so we can deal with that challenge card. It's much easier to deal with challenges when we're clear-headed, balanced, and poised compared to being in a state of cynicism, extremism, or panic. And so, focus cards can help move us from one point to another to serve as a bridge. If an author, guru, or minister tries to tell you that you're destined for a life free from poverty, sickness, loneliness, inequity, or rejection, run the other way. I bought into that lie for years, and when my first husband, a kind, health-conscious, optimistic, handsome Christian minister and talented trumpet player who had like 10% body fat, if that, when he was diagnosed with leukemia and he died a year later, his passing devastated a lot of people's lives, largely because not only was he kind of a poster boy for sainthood, but also because he preached a prosperity gospel that promised wealth and health. And he never had the first, not even close, and as you can see, he didn't have the latter either in the end. So the earth is a world of duality and unfairness. That's just the way it is. We incarnate here in arguably one of the most challenging soul classrooms in the cosmos in order to grow. We cannot grow without both light and shadow. And in the DVD, The Shadow Effect, Deepak Chopra explains this fascinating dichotomy of light and shadow, saying, in order to have manifestation, you have to have opposing energies. For without them, there would be no creative impulse. Let me repeat that since we're talking about intentions and manifestation. He said, in order to have manifestation, you have to have opposing energies. For without them, there would be no creative impulse. Is that interesting? So just because pain might be a part of our curriculum, it doesn't mean suffering has to be. because much of our suffering is caused by our attitudes, our assumptions, our core beliefs and expectations, not necessarily the circumstances that we're going through. So intentions can nudge us towards our highest and best self, toward a life filled with more clarity, more peace, enthusiasm, optimism, resourcefulness, and joy, so that we can navigate our time on earth with more ease and well-being. Now, who doesn't want to navigate the earth with more ease and well-being, right? And so if you haven't yet, I really encourage you to check out the book, The Intention Experiment by Lynne McTaggart that I talked about last episode, using your thoughts to change your life and the world. And then you can see how some of those experiments in quantum physics and intention work. And then, we'll fill in the blanks with how tarot cards can help us achieve more peace and optimism and resourcefulness and whatever we're needing in our life by way of these portable vision boards. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions or any areas that you would like me to focus on with intentions, what cards or what situations, by all means, put them in the comments or, send me a message somewhere. So I hope you found this helpful. And again, I'm Janet Boyer. I'm the author of Back in Time Tarot, Tarot in Reverse, Naked Tarot, as well as the co-creator of the Coffee Tarot deck with my artist husband, Ron Boyer, as well as the Snowland deck. So take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.